Hello everybody, welcome to another Yellow Chair Devotional. We're going to do another science experiment together. Then we're going to open up our Bibles and see what else can we learn about God, the master scientist. Now for today's experiment, you're going to need a glass dish of some sort, all right? Because we need something clear, and then we're going to use a dry erase marker to write on it. Okay, so I've got like a pie plate. You could use a Pyrex dish, a baking dish, but we need a glass dish. And then we're going to draw a picture. Now to start, I am just going to make a stick person. Okay, so there's my stick person. Can you see him on there? Now the tricky thing about this experiment is that it's very easy to mess up. So we're gonna see if we can get this one right. And hopefully you can see this on camera. But all we did is we drew our stick person on there, we let it dry, and now I am just very slowly going to pour water into the pan. I don't want the water to be straight onto the stick figure. I want it to be on the side. And do you notice what happened, Dean? Let's keep adding slowly, slowly. Oh. What is happening? If I move this dish around, how come my stick person is floating? And how come they're moving around? Are you seeing this? Didn't we draw it onto the glass? How does this work? Anywhere the water is, the stick person will go. What is happening here? Making our stick figure dance. Now, a dry erase marker, what makes it so that we can erase it with our finger or an eraser is that there's alcohol in it. It's made up of colored pigments and then alcohol, like the rubbing alcohol that we sometimes use, like if you get a scrape, that kind of stings when it goes on. Well, when we added the water, it dissolved the alcohol off of it. And all that's left is the colored pigments. And that's solid, right? Just like our tip here, that's some solid color. Or if you've ever gotten dry erase marker on your hands and you go like this, right? It kind of ends up being powdery, or you get some solid color. And it's the same thing here, but because we added our water slowly, we were able to keep our picture, our stick figure guy, but we were able to make him float. And now as I move him around, I've just got a solid stick figure that you can touch and move around and do all sorts of things with. So then, if you wanted to try this and expand a little bit, you could get different colors. You could draw a whole picture. You could draw a whole scene. You just want to slowly see, there's my, did you see it? There's my solid. And that's all that's left of them. When I picked them up is the solid pigment. Okay, so you've got options here that you can do as you draw your pictures. Add that water gently. If you add it too fast, it'll glob like this right away. Add it gently and your picture should float. Now, there is a story in the Bible of someone who couldn't walk. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. It would be hard to not be able to use our legs. And so this is in the book of John, the Gospel of John, chapter 5. It says in verse 2, in Jerusalem there is a pool with 5 covered porches. In the Jewish language, it is called Bethsaida, and this pool is near the sheep gate. Many sick people were lying on the porches beside the pool. Some were blind, some were crippled, and some were paralyzed, right? They couldn't use their limbs. There was a man lying there who had been sick for 38 years. Wow. Jesus saw the man and knew that he had been sick for a very long time. So Jesus asked him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered, "Sir, there is no one to help me get into the pool when the water starts moving. I try to be the first one into the water, but when I try, someone else always goes in before I can." All right, so this pool of water, sometimes the water would start bubbling. And people thought, oh, the angels are stirring the water. And sometimes maybe if you got into the water first, you would be healed. And so that's what this man is referencing. And so he goes to Jesus, "I haven't been able to get in the water." Then Jesus said in verse 8, "Stand up, pick up your mat and walk." And immediately, the man was well. And he picked up his mat, just like our picture, picked up off the plate, and began to walk and move. The day all this happened was a Sabbath day, so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "Today is the Sabbath, and it's against our law for you to carry your mat on the Sabbath day." But he answered, "The man who made me well told me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" Then they asked him, "Who is the man who told you to pick up your mat and walk?" But the man who'd been healed, he didn't know who it was. There were many people in that place, and Jesus had left. Later, Jesus found the man in the temple. Jesus said to him, "See, you are well now, but stop sinning or something worse may happen to you." Then the man left and went back to the Jews, and he told them that Jesus was the one who made him well. Can you imagine? Jesus goes, "Do you want to be well?" The guy goes, "Yeah, but I haven't been able to get in the water." And Jesus goes, "Stand up, pick up your mat and walk." Everyone else wasn't excited for this guy because it didn't happen on the right day, or you're not doing something right. Have you ever had people rain on your parade? But this guy later, this paralytic, Jesus finds him again and says, "Hey, you are well now. Go live your life. Go live your life." And he finds out Jesus' name and is able to tell everybody about Jesus. I feel like even if he hadn't met Jesus again, he never would have forgotten Jesus, right? You can't have an encounter with Jesus and not be changed. You might go, "Well, I don't know. I can move. Jesus changes us all. Sometimes it's a heart change. Sometimes it's an outward change. Jesus is a life changer. And so just like when we added that water to our picture, it almost came to life, didn't it? Because we could move it and make our stick figure dance a little. Imagine that man who had not been able to walk, had been so sick for so long, 38 years. And Jesus gave him his life back. He gave him purpose and meaning and hope and joy and love. And Jesus does the same for you and me. Let's say a prayer together. Dear Jesus, we are so thankful for the life that you give us. It's an abundant, good life. It makes us want to dance and praise you all the more. We're so thankful for your love. In your name, amen. All right, in the video description below, there's some questions to dive a little bit deeper, but grab those dry erase markers, try this out, see what type of pictures you can make move and come to life. You could even use the big baking pans and do a whole scene or something, who knows? It'd be really fun. But enjoy, and I will see you next time.